Hey guys, I wanted to make a video kind of talking about what kind of diet I follow. I am a nutrition coach, and so whenever I talk to somebody about nutrition at the gym I work at, the question of what kind of diet I follow, what do I eat, always gets brought up. And so I wanted to make a video kind of, especially for the 12 weeks, explain what kind of diet Michael and I follow. And I had to write myself little notes because there's so much. So when about 2010 is when I moved out of my parents' house, and I grew up a meat eater, not particularly the healthiest food, but when I moved out, as a struggling young teenager knows, you can't afford meat very easily. It's not cheap. So I actually became a vegetarian, not for any health purposes or environmental purposes, but because plain and simple, I just couldn't afford meat. So, but when, I had money, I actually still didn't eat meat. I loved being a vegetarian. It really became clear to me that while I grew up a meat eater, I've never liked the texture of meat. And I'm a very texture-oriented person with food, so I could not for the life of me stand the texture of meat. So I just decided I'm gonna stop eating it. Well, to be fair, I still do hate the texture of meat. And it doesn't matter if it's chicken, if it's steak, if it's fish, it does not matter. I hate the texture of meat. And when Michael and I started dating, he became vegetarian as well. He grew up a meat eater, and his main thing when we first started dating was portion control, because he was used to eating these giant portions and all that kind of stuff. So when we started dating, we became really vegetarian, and the man is always telling me something that he researched. So he researched a lot about vegetarian food because I was sadly lacking in proper nutrients when it came to being vegetarian, because I didn't know what to eat. Back then I was one of those typical vegetarians that ate like frozen veggie patties and all that kind of stuff that didn't taste very good. Or pasta. I was big on pasta because you can make pasta vegetarian, but it's not healthy. So he really was the one that kind of helped incorporate quinoa and lentils and all that kind of stuff into my diet. And at the same time that we were really getting into being vegetarian and researching it more, I was going to college to be, or to get my degree in kinesiology, and part of that is also nutrition. So I learned a lot about nutrition through my class as well. So that really helped us get together our diet repertoire, if you will. But at the same time that we started dating, I was still in the throes of my eating disorder. So I didn't eat very much, and I lost a lot of weight. I was down to 105 pounds, and that's not healthy for a 5'5" frame like mine. And the one thing that especially when I really started to heal from my eating disorder, was I'm not a volume eater. I can't eat a ton of food. So being vegetarian, you end up having to actually eat a lot of volume, which to some people is really awesome because you eat like a crap ton of food. But for me, I couldn't honestly eat that much, and I couldn't get enough protein in my diet through a vegetarian diet with the amount of food that I could stomach in a day. So we had to start incorporating chicken and fish back into my diet, and that sucked. I hate meat. And the other thing was I was lactose intolerant, and it was kind of a lot of yeah, I would say I was completely lactose intolerant. Like any kind of dairy always bothered my stomach, all that kind of stuff. But Over time, it started to get better where I like to say I'm more lactose insensitive now instead of lactose intolerant. I used to not even be able to drink whey protein without it making me really sick. Now I can stomach whey protein no problem. I can drink milk, yogurts, cheeses, but it depends, like hard cheese and like goat cheese and stuff like that. None of that bothers my stomach, but like mozzarella cheese can get my stomach sometimes, ice cream for sure, so stuff like that. So now I can at least supplement the protein in my diet so I can start taking out meat again, and incorporating more whey protein into my diet, which is nice. Michael and I've talked about it now where I felt like we were relying so heavily on meat and I just got tired of it. I hate meat. I don't know how many times I can say that in one video, but I just don't like meat. I don't like the texture of it. Also for me, I did an environmental science class in high school and learned a lot about the meat industry. And even in my my college English class, she did like a theme each semester, and the semester that I was there was nutrition, which was nice. But we watched things like Food Inc. and stuff like that, and it's always bothered me to think about hurting an animal for food. And so that's kind of been something that bothers me. If I don't think about it, it's not so hard, but like the minute I like think about a chicken, oh, I can't eat. So we kind of talked about it. We want to become a little more vegetarian again, but still eating fish and seafood about twice a week. But kind of cutting out chicken. We don't honestly eat red meat very often anyway, so I'm not, worried about having to cut out steak or something like that. But if, at some point I'm craving a steak, I will go eat a good steak or a hamburger. I'm not, completely saying I'm going 100% vegetarian. It's a little more pescatarian, except without chicken. So we eat a lot of beans and quinoa and lentils. And then obviously we have our whey protein and stuff like that. So I can still get my protein in, but just not with meat. So it is partially having to train my body to be more of a volume eater. Like, I mean, it can be really frustrating with the eating disorder, because it's always there, just kind of in the back. Like this morning I was eating a Kodiak cake protein waffle, and it was like it was a small little waffle. I made like a normal batch, and Michael got like 2/3 of it and I got a third, and I almost couldn't stomach the entire waffle. Like I started gagging, which was frustrating. So I just need to train my body to be more of a volume eater, or at least be able to supplement it easier, which works now because back then I couldn't stomach whey protein and now I can, which works out a lot. So isn't a cat pretty? Yeah, you're very pretty. It's gonna be a little harder because Michael also obviously eats almost like double what I eat daily, so it's trying to balance out our two diets and stuff like that. But we also now have more books to be vegetarian. So there's a book, I actually gave it to one of my best friends for Christmas, and it's How to Eat Everything Vegetarian, I believe it's called, by Mark Bittman. And it literally teaches you how to cook everything vegetarian. So that's really helpful. Michael got that for Christmas a couple years ago from my mom, but the problem with a lot of cookbooks is their vegetarian options tend to be very high in carbs and very low in protein, i.e. pasta and pizza. And that obviously you can't just eat carbs all the time. I'd love to be able to eat carbs all the time, but I do have to obviously incorporate protein as well. So to have that book will be helpful. And then the two of us obviously know how to substitute vegetarian options. And there is this company, back when I was first vegetarian, this company didn't exist, and it's called Beyond Meat. And they make chicken strips and like beef crumbles. I think they make burger patties now, but I'm not 100%. But it's all vegetarian protein, and they taste good. The chicken strips to me get a little bit touchy because it still has the texture of chicken, which is what I find hilarious because it's literally the same texture as chicken. You can't tell the difference between the two. So it's more, for me, it's difficult because I hate the texture of chicken. But it's stuff we can easily incorporate in. It's really high in protein. It's made with like pea protein, I believe, and other stuff. So there's obviously a lot more vegetarian options out there now, which is nice. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm gonna stop rambling. Never mind. I wanted to talk to you guys about what I use to track my food. So there's things like my MyFitnessPal and stuff like that, which I used to track for a while, but it got really frustrating because I actually couldn't adjust my macros the way I wanted. I had to go by percentage rather than like, I couldn't really slide in between percentages, which was really frustrating. But there is this this app that's called LifeSum, and I'll leave it, right here. And it's really cute looking, but it has all of my macro, or my calories and stuff up here, and then like my breakfasts and all that kind of stuff. And you can also do the premium option on LifeSum, which allows you to connect it to Fitbit. I'm not sponsored for this, by the way. I've seen it in a bunch of YouTube videos that I follow, and I checked it out and I was like, oh, I really like this. But to do the premium option for the 12 months, it was $44.99 versus doing the premium option with MyFitnessPal, which does allow you to adjust your macros per gram. But for a year for MyFitnessPal, it's like $90. I think it's like $100. And LifeSum is $45. So I was like, and even with the free option with LifeSum, you can adjust it. It's like a little slider scale. So you can really adjust it to what you need it to be for your macrograms, which was nice. But that's what I just started using it today. You can also calculate your water intake, which is something I'm really bad at. So it's like the little water thing is down here. And when you add, when you've had a cup of water, you click a cup. And it makes a cute little noise. So it's a good way for me to keep track of my water intake because I really suck at water. I need to drink more water. So that's a good way to also track my water. So check out LifeSum or MyFitnessPal or just something to track your macros. But that is the diet we are currently following. I'm still working on adjusting my macros. LifeSum gave me really low macros, like $1,300 or $1,300. Well, I love $1,300 a month. 1,300 calories a day, which is really low for me. But at the same time, I also have to keep in mind I don't eat very much. So trying to like eat up to 1,800 calories in a day is very hard for me. So I'm gonna start at 13 and then, adjust where I need to. That is it for this video. That's what we're eating. I'm gonna post things on my, like, pictures and stuff on my Instagram and my Snapchat. So I'm gonna leave those up here. So make sure you guys follow me on those as well. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know down below if you'd like me to do a video on macro counting and how to count, kind of calculate your macros, and stuff like that. Also comment if there's anything else you'd like to see. Please, please, please make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.